we'll go around in a little bit and have you introduce yourselves. I'd like to thank Meryl and Eric for taking care of the photography part of it. And of course, you probably know you're going to be on Facebook before the day's over. So, in a little bit, we'll be having cornhole outside if you want to go outside and play that. So, just have a good time. Have any questions, I'll be drifting around. Oh, and at 11 o'clock, Michelle from the library, they're going to tell us a Halloween story.
I don't have the tail. Michelle's got the tail. Oh my! Oh my!
Were you that one year he came in a diaper?
Cecil, what'd you do with your Cecil? What'd you do with your spider?
Okay, now, listen up. We're going to now have our Halloween story from the library. From Holly.
Thank you. Here, I got one for that. Yep, I'm very loud, so hopefully you can hear me in the back. Brenda, can you hear me, babe?
Yes, Holly.
All right.
She's going to tell you a story.
A Russian folklore called Bony Legs. Bony Legs was a horrible bad witch. She could run very fast on her bony old legs. Her teeth were made of iron, and she liked to eat little children. She lived deep in the woods in a hut that stood on chicken feet.
It's in your purse.
All day long, she waited for children to pass by. On the edge of the same woods, a girl named Sasha lived with her aunt. One morning, Sasha's aunt sent her out to borrow a needle and thread. What kind of aunt is that, huh? Sending a kid out. Well, Sasha took some bread and butter and a bit of meat for lunch. She began to walk. She walked and walked. She was surprised when she came to a hut that stood on chicken feet. She decided to go inside. She opened the gate, it creaked and groaned. "Oh, poor gate," said Sasha. "You need some grease." She scraped the butter from her bread and rubbed it on the hinges of the gate. It opened quietly. Sasha walked up the path. A skinny dog stood in her way. It barked and barked. "Poor dog," said Sasha. "You look hungry." She gave her bread to the dog. It ate it up and did not bark again. A cat was sitting near the hut, meowing sadly. "Poor kitty," said Sasha. "Are you hungry too?" She gave her meat to the cat. Old Bony Legs poked her head out the window. "What do you want?" she asked Sasha. will. My aunt would like to borrow a needle and thread, said Sasha. Come right in, said the witch. Sasha went inside. Now, said Bony Legs, get into the tub. Why? Asked Sasha. I don't need a bath. I want you nice and clean, said Bony Legs. I'm going to cook you for my supper. She grinned and showed her iron teeth. Then she went outside to gather sticks for the fire. She locked the door behind her. Sasha was scared. She began to cry. Don't cry, said a voice. I will help you. Sasha looked around. But there was nobody there but the cat. Fill the tub, but don't get in, said the cat. Sasha had never heard a cat talk, but she did what it told her to do. Bony Legs called through the door, are you washing, girl? Yes, I am, said Sasha. Good, said Bony Legs, and she went away to gather more sticks. After she had gone, the cat gave Sasha a silver mirror. When you are in trouble, throw this away, said the cat. That does not make sense, thought Sasha, but she took the mirror and put it in her pocket. Now run, said the cat. Sasha climbed out the window and began to run. The witch called through the door again. Are you washing, girl? Yes, I am, said the cat. Well, hurry up, said Bony Legs. Then she went away. Sasha ran through the yard. The dog stopped her and gave her a wooden comb. When you need help, throw this away, said the dog. That does not make sense, thought Sasha, but she put the comb in her pocket. Then she opened the gate. It did not make a sound on its butter hinges, and Sasha ran into the woods. Bony Legs called through the door again. Are you washing, girl? Yes, I am, said the cat. What? Said Bony Legs. Not done yet. She flung open the door. There was the cat. There was the tub. But where was Sasha? You sneaky cat, yelled Bony Legs. Why did you trick me? You never fed me, said the cat. But Sasha gave me meat to eat. Bah, said Bony Legs. As she ran out into the yard. The dog was sleeping in the sun. You lazy dog, shouted Bony Legs. Why didn't you bark at her? You never fed me, said the dog. But Sasha gave me bread to eat. Bah, said the witch as she rushed to the gate. You worthless gate, she screamed. Why didn't you lock her in? You never took care of me, said the gate. But Sasha put butter on my hinges. The old witch flew into a rage. She stomped her feet and pulled her hair and even pinched her own nose. But she did not feel any better. I would say not. When you pinch your nose, you're not going to feel very well. She ran after Sasha on her bony old legs. Sasha looked back and saw the witch's iron teeth glinting in the sun. Sasha was scared. She remembered the silver mirror. She took it out of her pocket and threw it behind her. The mirror became a deep silver lake. Bony Legs could not cross it. She can't swim on those bony legs, can she? She ran home and got her tub. She rowed it across the lake and ran after Sasha on her bony old legs. Sasha saw the witch coming again. She remembered the wooden comb. She took it out of her pocket and threw it behind her. The comb grew until it was as tall as 3 trees. Bony Legs could not climb over it. She could not dig under it. She could not even squeeze through it. At last she gave up. She stomped her feet, she pulled her hair, and pinched her nose, all the way back to the hut. Sasha went home too, and you can be sure she never went back to the hut that stood on chicken feet, and for as long as she lived, she never saw old Bony Legs again. Well, I have one more story if you want. This is spooky North Carolina. And of course, you can check these books out at your library anytime. Okay, this is my favorite ghost story. It's called The Carpenter, and it actually came out of Back Cave, North Carolina. Oh, good. J.J. Tucker owned a big farm just south of Back Cave, and he was just about as prosperous as a man could be. All his horses and cows were plump and fit. His barns were watertight and filled with hay and grain for the winter. And his wife was pleasant and downright pretty to boot. JJ's only sorrow was for his little boy Arnie, who'd had a crippled leg ever since he fell off the wagon and got run over by a wheel. JJ Tucker had a generous heart toward most every person he met. If any passing peddler stopped at his gate, he'd purchase some of their wares, whether he needed it or not. Anyone down on their luck would soon find $1 in their pockets, courtesy of J.J. Tucker, and could sit down to a good meal made by his missus anytime they felt a mite hungry. He gave generously to the church and was right up on the roof with the other men, helping with repairs after a big storm. Considering his big heart and generous spirit, folks considered it strange that JJ and his next-door neighbor, once the best of friends, were no longer on speaking terms. But Ted Franklin and JJ Tucker had argued strenuously over the ownership of the property that lay between their farms. And in the end, they stopped speaking to each other. Worse, Ted Franklin dug a deep ditch between the two properties and diverted a small stream into it to further separate the once friendly neighbors one from another. Not long after the ditch was dug, a stranger comes strolling up the lane toward J.J. Tucker's farm. J.J., just done with the morning milking, came to the gate to meet him. All smiles, J.J. greeted the man gladly. The stranger said, "I'm a carpenter looking for a day's work. Someone told me you might have a job for me." J.J. beamed with delight. "I do indeed," he said, opening the farm gate wide and inviting the carpenter through. J.J. led the carpenter to the footpath that once joined his farm with his neighbors. "See that stream over there?" he said to the carpenter. "My neighbor Ted dug that stream after we had a falling out over some land. Now I aim to do him one better. I'd like you to build a big fence right along the edge of that ditch so he can't see my farm anymore. There's poles and fencing in the farm just here. Think you can do it?" Well, the carpenter studied the situation for a moment. "I think I can build something you'd like." "Capital," said J.J. Tucker. I'll nip up to the upper field after breakfast to chop some weed. Meantime, come break bread with us." The carpenter smiled and accepted the breakfast invitation. Little Arnie was quite taken by the carpenter when JJ brought him to the house. The little boy talked and talked excitedly during the meal, and he watched from the window when the man headed down the footpath with his toolbox. "Mama, can I watch the carpenter work?" he pleaded, limping around to face his plump mother, who was busy kneading bread at the large kitchen table. "If he says you can," said his mother, "but don't talk his ear off like you did at breakfast." Little Arnie grinned and promised his mother before maneuvering slowly out the door with his crutch. Dragging his twisted leg behind him, he limped slowly down the footpath, the crutch dumping in the dirt. He stopped a few feet from where the carpenter was working and asked if he could watch for a while. The man looked up with a smile so sweet and tender that little Arnie's heart swelled with joy. "Of course you may," said the carpenter, and little Arnie sat down on a stump to watch the man sawing boards to the proper length and then nailing them to the frame. All day long the carpenter worked as little Arnie sat and watched. The carpenter had a splendid voice and sang many songs for the delighted child. He was also a storyteller and told Arnie wonderful tales about faraway places and interesting people. At noon, Mrs. Tucker brought them a basket of fried chicken to eat, and they supped together, the best of pals. The days sped by on wings. Little Arnie could not remember when he had enjoyed himself so much. The carpenter finished his work just before supper. He cleaned up the job site and then walked back to the house easy and slow so the little boy could keep up without hurting his twisted leg. So kindly was this done that little Arnie never realized the carpenter had slowed his customary pace to accommodate him. As they reached the house, J.J. Tucker bustled out with a huge smile. "Done there?" he asked jovially. "Done indeed. Come see," said the carpenter. As the men turned back toward the footpath, the carpenter stopped a moment and laid his hand on little Arnie's head. He smiled down at the child. "Go into your mother now and leave your crutch by the door when you go in," he said. "And thank you for your company today." "You're welcome," the little boy said happily, turning toward the door. The carpenter and JJ walked down the footpath together, and a moment later, JJ stopped dead in the center of the trail. A beautifully sculpted bridge spanned the stream in the place where he had asked the carpenter to construct a fence. And crossing the bridge, hand outstretched in delighted greeting, was Ted Franklin. Before JJ could process what had happened, before he exclaimed in surprise, his neighbor had seized his right hand and was pumping it up and down. "Bless you, JJ, bless you 10 times over," Ted cried. "I was miserable after I dug that ditch. I want us to be friends again, but somehow I could never bring myself to say so. Now you've built this bridge to join our land together again, and I can't thank you enough." Finally, regaining his voice, JJ said, "I wanted to be friends too, but I was too proud to say so. Much as I'd like to claim credit for the bridge, it was the carpenter here who built the bridge." The neighbors both turned and beamed upon the carpenter, who heaved his toolbox up onto his shoulder and nodded at him. Then he vanished. The men gasped and reeled back on their heels in astonishment. Where'd the carpenter go? At that very moment, there came a shout of "Daddy!" from the direction of the house. The neighbors turned and looked toward the house, just as little Arnie come pelting down the footpath. He was running as fast as ever a boy could run on his twisted leg that had been made whole again the instant he had laid his crutch by the door. Little Arnie threw himself into his father's arms, tears rolling down his cheeks. JJ swept up his son and shouted, "Praise be, oh praise be." The two neighbors exchanged a look over little Arnie's head and then glanced at as one toward the bridge. He healed a child and built a bridge, Ted murmured thoughtfully. I wonder. Hey, hugging his little boy tight, JJ smiled at his neighbor and said, "Perhaps we should just say, thank God for the carpenter." Amen, Ted said heartily. Amen. That's all, folks.
How did you enjoy the stories? Great, thank you so much. Now we're going to give out some door prizes. So get your tickets out. Get your tickets out. And they call it drawing. The last three numbers are 006. That's a sweet wife, isn't it?
God, that would be a lot of ticket for you next time.
The next number is 992. 992. Oh, okay, Bill. Come on down. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. One more.
One more, come on, ladies. We're gonna pick your number.
987. 987. You got a winner back there. All men today. Okay, just continue to enjoy yourself. Want some, eat some more, just go right ahead. That's what Halloween's for, is to eat and treat. To hold you over till Thanksgiving.